Hey everybody, what do you say? JGA 59, Gannon here. And yeah, as most of you I'm sure know, earlier this week, the great Mickey Lolich passed away. Uh, he primarily pitched for the Detroit Tigers. He was born in 1940, and he was 85 years old. And yeah, Mickey Lolich is one of those ball players, one of the few really, that's very special to me. And there are a number of reasons for that. But, let me start off by saying that in 1968, prior to 1968, I was not at all a baseball fan. I did lousy in gym, when we played softball, and all of it was a bit of a mystery to me. There's some kids who were really good, and a lot of the kids collected baseball cards. I picked up a couple of packs just to keep up with the flock, but I had really no interest in baseball. And one day in the spring of 1968, I was hanging out with some friends, and yeah, they were talking baseball, and everybody in my hometown was a Mets fan. You had a lot of Mets fans on Long Island, and so I remember coming home that day after playing and proudly announcing to my mom, I'm going to be a baseball fan, and I'm going to be a Mets fan. And she said to me, "Oh yeah, really? Yeah. Well, actually, I'm a Yankees fan." So I said, "Oh yeah," and so I said, "Okay, I'll be a Yankees fan too." And yeah, all through the spring and the summer and then the early fall, uh, you know, uh, we followed the Yankees. My parents took me to a Yankees game. I saw Mickey Mantle play. I remember him hitting a single, and we were very much taken by Mickey Mantle's chase of Jimmy Fox that summer. Jimmy Fox was third on the all-time home run list with 534 home runs. Mickey Mantle was, trying to pass him. He'd started the season with 18 home runs, and we looked at the papers every day and watched as many games as we could on TV and listened to them on the radio as well. And finally, of course, in September of that year, Denny McClain famously grooved a pitch for him at Tiger Stadium, and Mickey finally passed Jimmy Fox with his 535th home run. And Denny McClain was a big sensation that year, of course, because he won 31 games that season, and in fact, the game that he grooved the pitch to Mantle for the 535th home run was Denny's 31st victory. So it was a really exciting summer, and then when the season ended, the Yankees finished in fifth place. But I felt very good about it because the Yankees had finished in the first division. Back then, you just had two 10-game leagues. It was the last year of the of just the straight leagues without the divisions. But you could you would say that a team finished in the first division of the league if they finished anywhere from first to fifth place, and they finished in the second division if it was from sixth to 10th place. So the Yankees finished fifth, and they finished above 500. So I felt good about that. Then after the season ended and the World Series was about to begin, I asked my mom, "Well, who do we root for? The Yanks aren't in it. I mean, so what do we do?" And she said, "Well, we're Yankees fans, so that means we're American League fans, so we'll root for the Tigers." So I said, "Okay, that's great." And I watched that World Series. I watched it. I remember Gibson striking out 17, and I remember Jim Northrup. I remember him hitting a grand slam in one game and a triple in another, and of course I remember Mickey Lolich, who pitched three complete games He had 3 complete game victories in that series, and he defeated Bob Gibson, of course, in the finale for the Tigers, who ended up coming from behind. One of the few teams to do it. They were down in games 3-1, and they came from behind to win the series 4-3. And while, of course, there were so many great plays in that World Series and everybody contributed, the Tigers would not have won that World Championship without Mickey Lolich. What you see here in the background, leaning up against my Saba, my old Saba radio, back from the 1950s. It's a tube radio. It has a really great sound. You see 2 books. On the left is Mickey Lolich's autobiography, Joy in Tiger Town, which is a great book, and I can't recommend it enough. It really, some great stories and information in that. And on the right is just a book. It's called World Series Records, and it was printed in 1969, and it basically synopsized all the World Series up until that time, from 1903 to 1968. And the picture that you see in front of that book, on the cover of that book, is Mickey pitching Game 2 of the 1968 World Series in St. Louis. It was his first victory. He defeated the Cardinals, and Nelson Briles was the starting pitcher for the Cardinals that day. And, so Mickey and the Tigers won that game right after they had lost the day before to Bob Gibson, who struck out 17 Tigers. So, Mickey and the Tigers evened up the series 1-1. And what was also pretty wild in that game, Mickey Lolich hit his one and only career major league home run. He hit the ball, and he was surprised as anybody else, and just started trotting around the bases, and it was kind of an interesting moment. And of course, the picture you see on the cover of his autobiography is right after Bill Freehan caught Tim McCarver's foul pop-up, and the Tigers had won the 1968 World Series. Actually, let me take this. Well, no, I'll just show this. Okay, I have with me the complete World Series run of Topps cards of the 1968 series that were issued in 1969. And in my opinion, this is the greatest set of World Series cards ever issued, bar none. I mean, there's some other great designs, there really are. But this one, this, to me, the best ever. And let's look at some of these more closely. The first card documents Game 1, where Gibson broke Sandy Koufax's record of 15 strikeouts that he set on October 2nd, 1964. He set that record of 15 against the Yankees. Actually, it's pretty interesting. Gibson fanned his 17, broke the record also on October 2nd. And if I'm not mistaken, who was it? Not Clem Labine. It was, Carl Erskine. He set a World Series record back in 1953, I believe it was, when he struck out 14 Yankees. And again, I believe that was on October 2nd. So, October 2nd is a good day if you're a pitcher in the World Series. And then you see the Game 2 card. Who was it in? Willie Horton, Norm Cash, the first baseman, Willie Horton, the left fielder, and Mickey Lolich all hit home runs to even up the World Series against the Cardinals there, as I said before. So it was 1-1. Those 2 games were played in St. Louis. And then they headed back to Detroit. And the Cardinals won Game 3. Here you see Tim McCarver being greeted by Roger Maris on the left, who was finishing his last season in baseball with the Cardinals. Being greeted by Roger Maris, Kurt Flood, and in the background is Mike Shannon. And the Cardinals won that game. So they're ahead 2-1. And the Cardinals were cooking. Lou Brock, by the way, in that World Series was a terror. I mean, key hits, home runs, stealing bases. I mean, formidable. Just like he was in the 1967 World Series against the Red Sox. And, so the Cardinals won this game. And they were ahead in games 3-1 against the Tigers, and so the Tigers were on the ropes, and the rest is history. Game 5, Al Kaline hit a single, putting the Tigers ahead 4-3, and one of the key plays in that game was the single that Julian Javier hit to left field to Willie Horton on one bounce. Lou Brock was on second base, and Lou Brock, ran home, but he didn't slide. And Willie Horton threw the ball to Bill Freehand, who stood his ground at the plate and tagged Brock out. Doug Harvey was the umpire, and despite all the protestations by third base coach Joe Schultz and manager Red Shane Deast and Brock himself, a couple of things that contributed also to that play, like when Horton threw the ball, Mickey Stanley, who had been placed in as a shortstop just for the World Series, he jumped up pretending to try to catch the ball. He's trying to, get Brock to think that they were going to cut the play off and maybe, take it a little bit easier going home. Also, Don Wirt, kind of, pretended, I guess he kind of crouched, pretending he was going to field the ball. These were other things that the Tigers did during that play. Anyway, after they threw Brock out, Willie Horton's great throw and Freehand's tag, his great tag, that changed the momentum. And again, the Tigers went on. Kaline put them ahead, and I can't remember, what did they win, 5-3? I think they added another run after that. Yeah, it was 5-3 the final. So it was 3-2, and the next day the Tigers destroyed the Cardinals. I mean, just destroyed them, and it was tied up at 3. And so, and I should have mentioned that they went back to St. Louis for this game, okay? And they beat the Tigers that day 13-1. And then the final game, Mickey Lolich outdueled Bob Gibson, and the Tigers won the series. It was great. It was great. And, Mickey Lolich won the MVP, and he certainly was the MVP of that series. Very quickly, I want to show you a picture I have of Mickey Lolich and Roger Maris, who probably took this picture, I would imagine, before the series or during the series. Both Lolich and Maris, interestingly, were of Croatian descent. So that's another link they had. And it was also interesting, before the World Series began, Roger Maris, the Cardinals were, talking a lot about McClain, getting ready to hit against him. But it was Roger Maris who said, "Oh, hold on, everybody. The guy you got to watch out for is the pudgy left-hander." And he used some more colorful language to let the Cardinals know that was the guy. Of course, Maris had hit against Lolich extensely because he had played for the Yankees, and so he knew Mickey Lolich better than the other guys. Mickey was known for throwing a heavy ball. Yeah, I mean, your hand hurt as a catcher when he was pitching. Bill Freehand used, he used like he would go to the lingerie department of a department store and get the falsies or the things that you put inside a bra, so he could put that inside of his catcher's mitt. He used that whenever he caught against Mickey. Yeah, let me just show you a couple more things. This video is probably going to go a little long. I have a bunch of cards of Mickey's, almost his entire run. Here's his 1964 card. It's a rookie card, and some of these, I don't have in penny sleeves because I took them out of the binders that they were in. I'm working on the 1964 top set, so. That's why this doesn't have any protection on it right now. Whereas the 65, I just have stored in a box right now. I'm not working on the 65 set as a whole. So there's a 65 card. And then this is the 65 embossed card of Mickey Lolich. It's the only embossed card I have. I'm not really crazy about the set because, I don't know, to me, it's like these. It's like to me, it's like getting a strip card. The likenesses really aren't too. I wouldn't think too accurate. But I just wanted to have one because it's Mickey Lolich, and here's his 1966. Working on that set as well. Shout out to Mike's Mr. October. I got a long way to go. So Mike completed the 66 set. And here's the 1966 rub-off. Okay, and, of course, when you rub the thing off, I'm not sure exactly how you did it, but, that's how it would look, Mickey was actually, he was right-handed. Here's the 67 tops. When he was only 2 years old, he was riding his tricycle, and he crashed into a parked motorcycle, knocking the motorcycle over. It landed on him and broke his left collarbone in 2 places. And here's 68 tops. So he had, his arm was in a sling for quite some time, and it took a while for the collarbone to heal, and he was naturally a right-hander, so he could do everything he needed to do. But his left arm began to atrophy, so what they did was his parents, interestingly, tied his right hand behind his back. Don't know if they'd be allowed to do that today, and he had to use his left hand, and he started to, use his left hand for everything, including throwing. And he loved to throw. It's something he loved to do. He would go on his grandfather's garage roof and throw figs at buses. I guess they had they had some kind of a garden up there. When they finally released his right arm, he still continued to throw with his left hand. And he said that it was quite a distance from the top of the garage to the street where the buses ran. And when he was 8 years old, he could only make it halfway. But by the time he was 10, he could, go the entire distance over 150 feet and hit those buses. He liked to throw rocks in streams, and, in the garden, there'd be clumps of dirt, he'd throw them. Here's a 69. He did everything else right-handed, but, for throwing, he just remained a left-hander. And he says, who knows if I ever would have pitched if I remained a right-hander. When he was 12 years old, he didn't even know what baseball really was. That was his 69. Here's his 1970 tops. His his father was like the local park superintendent, and there was a baseball game scheduled between two teams of 14-year-olds. Mickey was only 12 at the time, but apparently one of the kids didn't show up, and the father thought he let Mickey play as a substitute. But Mickey didn't even know the first thing about the game. He said that, he was told to go out and play right field, and he said, "Where's that?" But as the game went on and the team was getting trounced, Mickey, boldly announced, I could throw better than any of these guys. And so they let him pitch, and he said that the other team, when the kids would get up to the plate, their eyes would get as wide as saucers when he was throwing to them. And his uncle, impressed by this performance of Mickey, got him on a team of kids his age, and he just developed a real passion for baseball, played on the high school team, and eventually, he got signed by the Detroit Tigers. That was his 70 Kellogg's, the one I just showed before. This is his 71 Tops. And, again, Mickey Lolich, for me, there's sentimental reasons, why I like him so much. Just, again, he reminds me of my mom, the 1968 season when I first became a baseball fan, watching him and the Tigers win that World Series. But also just because, of the kind of player he was, his attitude. He wasn't afraid to challenge hitters. He talks about that in his autobiography. He didn't care for, meetings and talking about, what to prepare to, go at a hitter. He said he would pitch what he was throwing well. And he would say, "Here's my fastball, come and hit it." And, that was his whole philosophy. And he had two great influences. Early on in his career, he came under the tutelage of Jerry Staley, former Major League pitcher. And Jerry Staley kind of, taught him how to throw the sinker ball, which was his bread and butter pitch for a long time. And Johnny Sain, who coached for the Tigers during '67 and '68, and he said Johnny Sain, really, he showed him, how to, think positively, and he helped him develop a really good curveball, and he felt that these two guys really, helped him so much. This is the last card I have. I have a few more to get. Obviously, I don't have the 73, the 74, the 75. I gotta get that. This is his 76. This is my last card of him. And so he was, it was just his heart. The way he pitched, that attitude, that confidence, and he was, known for his durability. He had 4 seasons in a row where he pitched over 300 innings. And in one year, I think it was 71, he pitched 376 innings. And he came very close to winning the Cy Young Award that year. But that was the year of Vida Blue. He was the big sensation. And right here I have a copy of a Sporting News where they're talking about, the competition between him and Vida Blue. Mickey Lolich had more victories than Vida Blue, but Vida Blue had a lower ERA. And at any rate, this was a great season for Mickey, and he won 20 games the season after this as well. There is a strong case, much more than a strong case. In fact, to me, it's a travesty that Mickey Lolich isn't in the Hall of Fame. I have some statistics here, if you put up with my writing. I compared him to a couple of pitchers, real quick. He, Jim Bunning, and Wade Hoyt had more or less similar final statistics. Mickey ended up with a 217, 191 record. Bunning had 224 wins with 184 losses. Wade Hoyt, 237 wins with 182 losses. Mickey Lolich had a 3.44 ERA. Bunning, 3.27. Wade Hoyt, 3.59. The thing is that when Mickey Lolich retired, first of all, he was the all-time leader for left-handers in strikeouts. He had 2,832 strikeouts when he retired. You see, Bunning here has more, but he was a right-handed pitcher. But he had 2,855. And you can see they have similar, I don't know, can you see it? Innings pitched. Mickey Lolich, 3,638. Bunning, 3,760. Bunning's in the Hall of Fame. You know, I mean, why isn't Mickey Lolich? And Bunning should be in the Hall of Fame. Mickey pitched 300 innings 4 times. Bunning did it twice. Mickey won 20 games twice, and Bunning won 20 games once. Although Monkey, why did I get Monkey? Bunning, Bunning had like 5 seasons where he pitched like he had 19 victories. You know, Bunning was a great pitcher. Mickey Lolich had 3 World Series victories. Bunning didn't have any. Wade Hoyt down at the bottom here had a similar number of innings as the other 2 guys, but not nearly as many strikeouts. But he pitched in 6 World Series, playing in 12 games, and he had a 6-4 record in the World Series, and he never pitched 300 innings. Anyway, the short story is, Mickey Lolich deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And, when you think of guys, like going back to this picture of Mickey and Roger, for me, it's like these 2 guys stir more people's imaginations than a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. Guys that people never heard about in the Hall of Fame. These 2 guys stir people's imaginations to this day. And I was on social media quite a bit after Mickey passed away, and I mean, just the slew of tributes that it was. Mickey Lolich meant something to people, and it's probably even worse that the Tigers. Here's the last thing I'm going to show you. This is the 1972 yearbook that has Mickey on the cover. And the 1972 Tigers are a story unto themselves. That's something I'd like to do a video on someday. But I mean, I can't understand how the Tigers just never retired as number 29. I mean, that guy, the pitcher today, what's his name? Skubal, Skubal. He's wearing 29. Okay, that's great, But, his number should be retired. I mean, the Tigers the 68 Tigers were a great team. And everybody played a very important part that year for the team to win the World Series. But without Mickey Lolich, there would have been no world championship for the Tigers that year. So, I mean, that to me is a travesty that the Tigers haven't retired his number. So, I'm going to leave it there. Maybe one day the people over at Cooperstown will come to their senses, and, the Tigers, the organization over there will come to theirs as well. If you stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.